Yeah, they're not going away, just call the police.
Yes! If there's one team that stand out to me as being the next big thing in parkour, that would be Team Fat.
With two of their members being just 16 years old and able to do things like this. Team Fat have all the makings to be something big in parkour. However, there is one problem.
Parkour is notoriously hard to monetize, and there's one really specific reason for that.
We'll get into that a little bit later on in the video.
So today we're heading to London to meet Team Fat and find out what their story is.
Team Fat are an 8-man parkour team from London. Over the years, London has been home to some of the best athletes and the biggest developments to the sport. But in recent years, parkour in London has taken a hit. I made a whole video on this, which I will link in the description. With parkour being so small, creating a living off the sport is harder than ever. Team Fat themselves have also faced major setbacks over the years, which we'll get into in a bit.
Every time I do this walk, I get so nostalgic. Like I remember the first time I ever came to IMAX. Danny? Hey, not bad. Hi, man. Are you alright? Yeah. Man, how you doing? You good?
After a stressful journey to London, I arrived at the iconic IMAX spot. This is probably the most famous spot for parkour on Earth. Once we said our hellos, I was straight away very impressed to see that they were warming up on one of the biggest jumps at IMAX.
Oi, oi. Oi! I remember ages ago, that was like the big pre, back in the day. Now it's just like a warm-up jump for these guys. Yes! Christ, that it. Oh, foot keeps slipping. You all got bikes, did you?
Yeah, all of us got bikes. We cycle like 11 miles to get here.
11 miles every day. I'll warm you up.
I'm back.
I'm back. So 22-mile round trip. Well, they were saying they cycle 11 miles here and 11 miles back.
It makes sense why the jumps are so fat, because obviously like it's training your legs.
There.
If you worry all the time, you're gonna...
I'm scared. Kong Stride 3. Yeah. I know Manzi tried it back in the day. He bounced it, but I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to get height.
Yeah, but I can feel that. Oh!
It was more of like a test, but
Yeah.
oh, I was right. I think I could do it.
Yo!
So close. That was a bit of a... You need to get more speed in the Kong Stride, and that's basically it.
Oh!
The rain's coming in. Oh no! No! Oh no! I'm happy I sent it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classic British weather, guys.
It's gonna be like this for like 1 hour, and then it'll be dry, I think.
So this was the first moment I noticed something very different about the attitude of Abdullah and Team Fat in general. They're just blindly optimistic about everything.
I trust. I think it'll be dry very quick.
Alright, I'm gonna risk it. God's sake. Okay.
As the rain drowned IMAX, I wanted to find out how much structure their team had. Or were they just friends having a laugh? Oh, and by the way, yeah, Abdullah was right.
Called it. You called it.
IMAX always treats you nice.
So who like runs the Instagram?
Mainly him.
Are you the brains?
Abdullah's the brains of the YouTube.
Oh yeah.
The main goal with the YouTube is like to make parkour look fun, basically.
Yeah.
So we want to like grow the channel so that when we do post a big video,
It'll hit.
then like it will reach more people, basically.
Yeah, that's sick.
So it seems Team Fat are serious about growing, and this isn't just a little hobby. Having made a parkour team myself in past, I know the challenges that intertwining parkour and growing on social media can have. Sometimes it can negatively affect the reasons why people do parkour. So I wanted to hear Abdullah's thoughts on this.
So do you prefer doing the YouTube or the Instagram? Or whatever?
Definitely the YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you don't really show much personality on Instagram. It's just like the clip, boom, that's it. Like,
Yeah, that was always my problem. It totally warped how I trained as well.
I had the same similar problem where I was like going out and just trying to do like the maddest shit in one day. And and basically, I think that's the reason why I broke my arms.
3, 2, 1.
About 1 year ago, Abdullah broke both of his arms attempting a large Kong Prix. For many, this would have put them off training parkour at that level ever again. However, not Abdullah. He instead took away a very valuable lesson about pushing too hard purely for likes on social media.
My goal for every single day was to get the hardest clip I possibly could, and I would go out, film that for Instagram and post it the same day. I would get lots of views and likes and stuff on Instagram, you know, and I was addicted to that gratification, I would say.
Abdullah made a full video talking about the injury and how it affected his mindset. You have to go check this out. The whole thing is just so open and honest. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description so you can check it.
What? Did you just duck?
No rest for a cracker. Just say, I feel like a muggle now. I don't have a button.
Yeah, I know.
Me, Klaus and Ali are all from Ealing. Orlando's from Datchet. Lukey is from like East London. I think he's from those ends. We have to ask him to fact check that.
Yeah.
Arthur's from Richmond.
Okay.
And Devon is from Royal Oak.
Which one's Devon? I forget which one.
He's the guy that was in the last video, like.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Devon is one of the lesser known members of Team Fat. Despite being very high skilled and having a very unique style of parkour, Devon has had some very serious setbacks during his time training.
So at first it was like his ankle, and that put him out for like a year and a bit, and then he broke his neck.
Jesus.
And his shoulder basically. Like,
this is where Devon broke his neck.
Like your neck is fine.
Oh my god, dude. What? That's so mad.
A low budget trampoline park in Scotland, and I was trying to full him back out. I slipped out on the second rotation, and because their foam pit was only 1.2 meters deep, when I hit the foam, my head kind of caught the foam block on the top. My head got stuck on the top and compressed it forwards like that.
he's coming back doing crazy shit.
And now he's back after breaking his
For all the big gaps that Team Fat do, it hasn't come without some very serious injuries. I wonder, as a group of young lads, mostly under 20, what their views on longevity in parkour is. If the guys are serious and aspire to be professionals, they're going to have to last more than a couple of years.
If you listen to your body, like if something's hurting you, you just shouldn't do it. And if you follow that mindset, then you'll just get stronger and keep on doing the things that you want. If you look at Bo from the London community, like he's doing some meaty drops, and he's like 50 plus, and he seems fine.
I think he's in his 60s now, maybe.
Nah, don't gas him. I swear he's gonna see this and get offended.
Sorry, bro. I don't know how old you are.
I mean, you have to love British weather. Like, look at it now. It was tipping down with rain like 2 minutes ago, and then now look at it. Anyway, we're at the second spot. It's a little bit undercover because obviously everything's now wet. Let's see how we get on. Oh. Woo! Nice. Woo! Woo! He's fronting you?
Yeah, he's gonna front over me very easily.
I don't know if I can.
Easy.
There.
Man. Woo! Man.
No, that's not.
I was trying speed step, man. I want to try grab that top thing. See how close I can get.
I want to try that.
Come on. Okay, we're all going to whack it, yeah?
Oi.
You're like this far.
Okay, I'll go then, because that was a much effort.
He said he's about this far, and I was like, no.
Greg's like a, you know, 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah, that's 12 foot on a good day.
6 foot on Tinder. So that is pretty much 3 times.
This arm jump the guys were trying is a perfect example of what I mean about their attitude. This jump is absurdly big, like I didn't think it was possible. But I noticed none of them had that thought, and I found that really interesting.
You were looking at that arm jump today, and to be honest, in my head I was like, that's not doable, but none of you said, I don't think that's doable.
Try to be like optimistic as much as you can. I don't know, you have more fun if everyone's feeling good, then you just have more fun in the end. That's the most important thing in the end.
Could it be this pure optimism and self-belief that leads Team Fat to making a living off of parkour? Their belief in their ability to do it might actually make them do it. This attitude they have was really put to its limits at the next spot.
Just hoping that the 2 walls I need will dry by the time we get there. We're gonna go slowly, you know, take our time.
Abdullah has had his mind set on doing this standing precision for quite some time.
I want to try the Kai Willis standing code. Oh. The blue shot's massive.
This jump has only been recorded being done twice in the history of parkour. The last 2 people to do it was Ross Brewer in Blue Shorts Massive and Kai Willis in his 2013 showreel.
Oh no, here already come. Go be quick, man, the security is about to kick us off.
Yeah, they're not going away, just call the police.
You just break your neck now.
You will be paralyzed.
Shut up, negative Nancy, alright? About paralysed.
Don't tell me shut up, man. It's private property, yeah?
After a mental battle and a bit of a rush, Abdullah said, turn the camera on.
Yeah, Lando.
Yes! Yes!
The most you'll be is paralysed. I don't think so, man.
Yes, man.
You're not paralysed.
Despite everything going on and the rush and the pressure, Abdullah pulled it off.
Put a lot on this, and like I landed so deep spot. Oh, I'm buzzing.
Yeah, well done.
I mean, the first time I looked at it was like probably like 2 years ago. It's always been like on the edge of whether I should do it or not. Quite happy I waited. My jump is like the biggest it's ever been now, and that felt like a bit close.
Yeah.
In amongst the rush and the stress, it was at this point that Abdullah realised Orlando didn't press record.
It's not an everyday jump for me.
What happened with Lando then? What happened?
He just didn't film it like normal. I think his camera is so complicated that it just takes too long to set up. And obviously in parkour, like, you can't wait on something for too long, basically.
Lando, what happened with filming, son?
Basically, Abdullah's very unexpected where he wants to go. So he's just standing there like off. And then I'm just fiddling my camera trying to focus in, just exposure. And he's like, okay, yeah. I was like, and then I press film. And then I look up and then he's landed it. And then
I could tell the guys are a little bit gutted that they missed this shot for their big video, but they didn't seem too fast, and Abdullah seemed like he would be up for doing it again at another date.
Basically, we didn't hail the bus.
Just had to run for the bus. Little sprint. Keep the blood pumping.
When it comes to like who does what in the team,
well, we all sort of chip in like the design of the clothes, and then Klaus normally like sorts out the shipping and stuff like that. Me and Abdullah do like the sort of the edits.
yeah.
And then Arthur and Klaus and Abdullah do the vlogs.
One of the main advantages Team Fat have is that they're a young group of 8 lads, and they all seem to take their own roles quite seriously. This is very similar to Stora, who are the most successful and well-known parkour brand in the world.
Who are like your main influences with like trying to make a team?
Stora mainly, because they're sort of the only people who have properly making a living out of it.
Yeah, for
sort of,
sure.
I guess.
But I think Stora, it's just the dedication is what like inspires us the most, I'd say, especially me, because they're constantly making videos. Like even in winter in England, it's so hard to make videos. Like they still manage to do it, even though like the weather and everything, and it's just very. I think that's probably the best part.
Yes, you're recorded.
Which side did you front free? That's ridiculous, bruv. So Abdullah did this Kong front. I'll put the clip in, but basically did Kong, front, stick, front, land on there. That's ridiculous. What's like the end goal? Like if you were to say where you're trying to...
I think there's 3 main goals. Main one, we want to bring back like the bang of parkour. Have the bang, like just what parkour used to be when everyone used to come out, like before they destroyed Voxels and Junkers Jungle and stuff, when everyone used to come out, like we just want to have like those glory days back.
Yeah, I feel that.
One of our goals is that we want to make a fat gym in London.
Yes.
Help the community and just end up making a living from parkour.
No, it's alright, we just keep getting talked through to people.
Really, it should be only 2 people if you're from different households.
Sorry about that, guys. Nice one. Good night, guys. Oi, that's sick.
Step up like this. At the same time, it makes you go high, so it's not bad.
Yeah, that's true.
And I sip my coffee. Only got 3 things on my mind, that's money, house, family, simple, old school things. Keeping it retro, 10 toes on the ting ching on a menthol. Only when I'm out at the rave on occasion. More time spent in my room, I quit blazing. Too much work, need doing on a daily. I won't be another youth, talent gone stale. Old school days, these skimming chain mail. Concrete legs with each side of the rail. Ouch, arm jump straight to a nail. I don't see much, so I dream with my eyes open. Trying to turn these dreams to reality now. Long time I was with the fairies, how parents got me on track.
Yes, boy.
As it came to the end of the day, we said our goodbyes and I hopped on the train home.
Thank you very much for all of that. Nice to meet you. Proper pleasure.
Right, so the big question. Do I really think they have what it takes to go professional? Well, to answer that question, we have to look at professionalism in parkour as a whole. There's really only a handful of parkour brands that are truly living off of the sport. In my opinion, there's one main reason for this. Parkour doesn't require equipment to do it. This is both the best and the worst thing about parkour. In one sense, it means anyone can do it for free, but that is a problem. Unlike skateboarding, where every single skateboarder needs a skateboard in order to skate. They'll pay good money for a board. And not only the board, they need the wheels, the bearings, and they have to maintain it. There's a supply and a demand. So as long as you have a few skateboarders, you have an economy. The fact that you don't need equipment to do parkour makes it really hard for people to become professionals. You might argue that there are parkour brands that sell clothing. The problem with that is parkour is already really small. And of the people that do parkour, parkour clothing is quite a small market. Clothing in parkour has less of a demand than skateboards in skateboarding. It's going to take quite some time for parkour clothing to be a viable business for those who want to live off the sport. However, it's not all bad news. There is one thing right now that I think will change parkour forever, and that is these. I'm not being sponsored to say this. This is a pair that I own myself. This is from the company Stora. Parkour-specific footwear could be the future of parkour as an industry. When the day comes that it's just the norm that freerunners wear shoes built by parkour companies. When that day comes, things could totally change. A healthy economy is where those parkour brands that make shoes reinvest the money back into the sport through things like sponsorship, big events, and parkour academies. All of these things will help grow parkour as an industry. The bigger the sport is, the bigger the demand for things like parkour clothing, shoes, and parkour content, which will make parkour more appealing for outside companies to invest in the sport. For example, this company. That was such a good segue. Since my YouTube channel has grown quite a bit lately, which is totally thanks to you guys supporting the channel, Vite Ramen has sponsored my channel, meaning that I can invest that money into better equipment, to make better videos, and to put more of my time into building the parkour community. This company was created by freerunners. and they got into their business of making nutritional ramen from parkour. For me, this whole opportunity is a perfect example of how once parkour creates an interest, more and more external companies are going to want to invest their money into free runners. So big shout out to Vite Ramen for this opportunity. I really respect what they do. They make delicious ramen that's really nutritional. If you are interested in trying them out, I'll leave a link in the description, as well as a 10% discount code. Anyway, back to Team Fat. What are my final thoughts on Team Fat? My final thoughts on Team Fat are that I genuinely think they can do it. They're all young, super enthusiastic, and more importantly, they're all driven towards the same goal. I see the same work ethic and ambition that I see in Stora. And just like Stora, you can see they're a tight-knit group of friends. And I could pick up on that in the first minute of just being around them.
In my whole life, I don't think I've had like better friends than I have now. It's more like family, if I'm honest.
They help you.
I really pray for the best for these guys, and I hope they continue their hard work. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so glad lockdown rules are being relaxed a bit now, so comment below what you want to see me make next. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to go further and help support the channel, check out my Patreon. Peace.